We're back with a Fox News alert. Police releasing Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor after the former prince was arrested in the UK on suspicion of misconduct over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Let's bring in Andrew Eborn. He's a barrister and broadcaster and president of Octopus TV. Andrew, it's great to have you on. So this is the first time a senior royal has been arrested in like 4 centuries. So saw that picture of Andrew laying there in the back. He looked shocked, like he really thought this day would never come. Just tell me overall, what is the mood in the country over this?
Well, I think, as you say, history was made yesterday and then paused. It was the first time in 400 years that a senior royal has been arrested. The other time was Charles I. Princess Anne was basically had a criminal offence in 2002, but about dangerous dogs, and she was fined 500 quid for that. And Prince Philip was basically told off, is the best way of putting it, for not wearing a seatbelt. The mood in the country is that we have very strict rules with contempt of court about what can be said in certain situations. And the King was the one who actually named Andrew. It wasn't the police, because the police said they weren't going to release the name of the person who had been arrested. But the King came out and very wisely sort of said, look, the due process needs to be followed. Nobody is above the law. And I always say that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Sure. So what's going to happen now? They're going to look for the evidence. Once the evidence has been found, they will then decide whether there's going to be a charge. But until that has happened, there are all sorts of restrictions under penalties of imprisonment, 2 years if people get contempt of court wrong, if people don't abide by it. So what people mustn't do is speculate about the evidence. They mustn't comment on whether he's innocent or guilty or so on and so forth. Sure. They basically have to stick to the facts. The other point also to emphasise is this is obviously about the business arrangement and abuse of position rather than the sexual claims that have dominated the headlines throughout the world. No doubt further investigations will be done on that sort of basis, but it is important to look at that sort of side. It was a terrible wake-up call for Andrew on his 66th birthday yesterday, but he does continue to deny any wrongdoings. So
Andrew, just so people understand, Andrew had this really unusual position of representing, your nation in trade. He apparently passed really sensitive information off to Epstein. So that's part of it. I want you to listen to this. This is Virginia Giuffre. This is the woman who was supposedly committed suicide after she had a car accident. This is her talking, her brother speaking about this case. Listen.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling. And, kudos to the UK for taking the first step, for saying, you know what, we are going to arrest somebody who is held to one of the highest esteems out there, somebody who was a former prince.
Do you think that this trial with Andrew will help pull that string and unravel so people can start to really understand what the Epstein situation is about at its heart? Is it about sexual blackmail? Is it about, is it financial money laundering? Do you think we'll get to the bottom of it at some point?
Well, firstly, and the royal family have spoken out very publicly about this, their first thought is for the victims of Epstein. This, however, and it was the point I made at the very top, is that this is not about the sexual allegations, and that may come in the fullness of time. This is what's called misconduct in public office, and it's no ordinary charge. It basically demands proof of deliberate, serious abuse of public trust by a public official, and it's exceptionally serious. It could have, if found guilty, up to life imprisonment. So it doesn't mean the allegations have gone away about the sexual side. That will no doubt be looked at in the fullness of time. But whilst my heart absolutely goes out to the victims and Virginia Giuffre's family, this is not what the particular arrest was about. And that's what it is. It's a really complicated offence, misconduct in a public office. It will come out what exactly may have been alleged, but everybody is assumed innocent until proven guilty. But what it does prove is that nobody is above the law.
Yeah. Yep. And it also proves that the royal family is taking this seriously. Obviously, they're afraid of the implications for the entire monarchy and their own reputations. And they've decided to as you said, name Andrew publicly and let him take accountability for this. Thank you so much, Adam. Very interesting information. We'll have you back because I want to get to the Sarah Ferguson part later on. So we'll have you back.